Howdy out there. Buongiorno. So wait a few more minutes to see if anybody else shows up, and then I'll get underway. Hope you're having a good day so far. Yeah, my day's been pretty good. Nice and sunny today, and temperatures in the mid 60s. Typical nice October day. I think my audio's all good to go for my end. Hey, Karegi. Buongiorno. Is the audio good for you? Just want to make sure it sounds all good before I delve into it. Good, good, good. Alrighty, enough dilly-dallying. Well, buongiorno, ciao. I'm Stalkaz the Stallion, furry horse, for those of you who don't know me. Yeah, thanks for joining me on the live stream. As you may or may not know, I was recently over in Italy with my dad for the last 10 days or so, and it was quite a whirlwind of an experience. So I'll just do like a brief intro, and then we'll get right into the pictures and videos, because that's what you guys are here for. Now, just fair warning, there's over 500 pictures and videos I'm going to share, but don't worry, I'm pretty quick with stuff, so don't worry, you won't be here all day. So, yeah. If there are two themes, basically there are two themes for my experience. The first theme is rain. The second theme is construction. And then once we get into the nitty gritty, you'll see exactly what I mean. So, as you may or may not know, I live in Pennsylvania. So, in order to get to Italy, what I did was went to the Lancaster, Pennsylvania train station, Amtrak station, and hopped aboard the Keystone service, which it starts in Harrisburg, and of course, Lancaster's one of the stops along the way, and it takes you all the way to New York's Penn Station. And this is the first time I was in the quote-unquote newer Penn Station, which the main concourse used to be the basement below Madison Square Garden. And then in the last few years or so, they relocated the main concourse. It's like a block west of there on like 8th Avenue. And it's really nice. It's like a nice high ceiling. It actually looks like a train station as opposed to just like a glorified subway station. So, I like trains. I guess you can call me a rail fur. But I won't get too deep into the weeds with that. But that was the first time I was at the new station, and it was really nice. So I arrived there. Oh, Actually, before I get too far, I forgot to talk about the construction. So at the Lancaster train station, the one platform was completely shut down due to construction. So the whole time, waiting for the train, all the workers are out there, hear the beeping and all the equipment going. But no deal, like they didn't delay anything at all. Got on the train as usual. And then we made it to Penn Station right on time. And so what I did was, as soon as I got to the station, I hopped aboard the E train, which is that subway. Takes you pretty much almost directly to JFK Airport in Queens, which is where we were to depart. However, it doesn't go directly to the airport. So then you get off at the second to last stop, I'll call it Jamaica something or other, and then you have to hop aboard the air train. And the air train takes you from Jamaica, and it makes a big giant circle going around all the different terminals. So I got off at my terminal, and my dad, he flew in from where he lived, so we met up there. He had an overnight flight, so I kind of felt bad for him. But anyway, so we met up at the terminal, and then we got checked in, and then our flight departed right on time. And before I get too much farther, let's get to the pictures, because like I said, there's quite a few to get into. So let me go ahead and I'll shrink myself. Let's see. Let me. Right. I always have the darndest time with this. Oops. Is that what I want? There we go. Whoop, whoop. Oh. Alrighty, so put myself down in the corner. Alright, I think that's a good position for it. So, we'll just make sure everything's ship shape. Alright, we are good. Alrighty. So, there's the thumbnail. Stalkaz does Italy. So these are all my pictures I took of all different places I went to, and of course the Italian flag in the background. So there we go. Okay, so here is the plane that we departed. It's a Delta Airlines flight. This is JFK Airport. Departed around 7:15 p.m. So it seems to be like a lot of like the flights going over to New York always depart like in late afternoons or evenings, and they're overnight flights. And before the trip, actually, my dad gave me this model plane. This is the exact aircraft that we flew on, right? It's a Boeing 767 jet. Yep. So, but let me just say, actually, look. So there's that picture. PowerPoint, yeah, pretty much. Although hopefully this will be a little bit more fun than grade school PowerPoints. All right, so then here we are. This is right at sunrise. So as we're flying into Venice. So actually, I should probably tell you where I was going. So we departed JFK International Airport out of New York City en route to Venice, Italy. And it was an overnight flight, and that was like the bumpiest flight I've ever had. There was a lot of turbulence, and at points the pilot would have to announce that there's nothing to be concerned, just buckle down, buckle up, and just chill. But the ride there was a lot of turbulence, a lot of bumpiness. But sometimes that's what you can expect. And then so this is I didn't get any sleep, by the way, because I never sleep well when I'm traveling. So I just pretty much just stayed awake the entire time. And so this is the sun coming up. Alrighty, and this is the Marco Polo International Airport in Venice. We got off the plane. Then we met up with the people to arrange like the taxi service into the downtown. Now the airport is quite a ways away from the downtown city of Venice. And as you can see, contrary to most airports, there's no taxis, there's no subway, there's no bus. What you have is a row of docks with boats. Because you probably know Venice is the city surrounded entirely by water. So the thing about Venice, and you'll see in the upcoming footage, it's like taking a step back in time. It's like it's cliche, but it's like basically living history. It's like going back, yeah, like a time machine. And so the primary mode of transportation is our boats, and there's also like walking. And you'll see, look at there's no city streets, so but like the roads, quote unquote, streets were like small, narrow, like walkways and alleyways, and and you can get lost very easily, even with the map. It's like, so a lot of times we would have to stop and ask for directions, and they're always very helpful. They're always willing to help you out. But I've noticed it's not really their fault. Like, they're kind of general. It's like, oh yes, just go over there, to the left, to the right. But the thing is, it's not like here in the U.S. Oh yeah, you make a left on Main Street, and then you go on State Street, and then go to this boulevard and that avenue. No, like all these streets. Hey Max, good to see you. Buongiorno. But like instead of streets, like they would have these called Calais. And I've learned later on, spoiler, this is kind of like a spoiler, that Venice originally was its own separate kingdom, and it had its own distinct language before it was eventually annexed by Italy. And it was one of the last, one of the most recent country. Well, like, how do I put this? I guess one of the most recent European countries, that's not been dissolved from a previous country. It was like formed, like I believe, in like the 1850s or 1860s. You could do your research in your own time with the history. So, like, prior to that, similar to Germany, each of the regions had its own separate government and its own, like, dialect and language, and then it eventually became unified as one country. And so, like, they would have Calais as for streets rather than via. Like, via is the common for street for Italian. And instead of, like, a piazza is like a plaza or, like, a square, they would have these called campo, like Campo San Marco or Campo della Fava. So, yeah. All right, so, yeah, so here's the lineup of boats. And here we are at the dock getting onto our water taxi. Yeah, I forget exactly which boat it is, but yeah, I started taking pictures and videos as soon as I got off the plane because I was eager to get going. Yeah. And as you can see, by the looks of the skies, this is the common prevailing theme for pretty much the entire trip. It was pretty much overcast most of the time. We dodged the raindrops we would have like a brief drizzle every so often. But it wasn't until like the very last day where we had like a complete downpour. It was like a all around miserable rainy day. But we still got everything done. We were able to see everything, so we can't complain too much. But like I said, rain and construction. All right, so here's our boat. This is the boat here in the foreground where we get on. This is like a water taxi. They also have like a public like a water bus, for lack of a better term. I don't know the exact term, where they would have like different stations set up, and of course you hop on a boat, go from place to place rather than an actual bus. All right, now here we are riding on the shuttle. There's one of the bus stations, by the way, in the background there. So right now we are on the Grand Canal, which is basically the main street of Venice. Venice is a series of islands. I forget exactly how many hundreds of islands are, and even more bridges. And basically, the Grand Canal makes like an S shape, and it's surrounded by a lagoon. It's like an enclave of the Adriatic Sea. Hey, Brimstone, good to see you. Yep, you can see the boats sailing by. And like, for instance, since this is the main street, all the main entrances to like the doors and everything are facing the canal, not facing like inland to the walkways, because this is their primary mode of transportation. Yep. There's another view inside our shuttle. Here we are going under a bridge. So that's the thing, when you associate with Venice, it's lots and lots of water. Yeah. There's tons of boats everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, we asked for like directions to get to our hotel, but like it's just so hard. It's so hard to give directions. And the first time for us ever being here, it's kind of hard for us to receive directions. So we kind of just mutter our way through it. Kind of like, just headed a certain, like basically it's like going in a certain general direction. And in the city, there's basically two main focal points. There's the Rialto Bridge, like a big ornate bridge. And I'll have pictures of that. You'll see. And then also there's the Basilica San Marco, or St. Mark's Basilica, named after the St. Mark, one of the four Gospels. You know, if you remember the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So that basilica was named after him. And in fact, his remains were actually brought there and are encased inside the basilica. And I'll show you that later on too. So throughout the city, there'll be random signs like pointing, Rialto that way, San Marco that way. So there are some signs, and then on the corners of buildings, it'll say like Calle San Marco, or Calle Vidal, San Vidal. So it'll give you like the street name, but you kind of have to still like navigate your way through it anyway. Let's see here. All right, so this is right after we got off the boat. This is, as you see, this is another view of the Grand Canal with the gondolas lined up. It's another view. And just a random fun fact. So in, I believe it's 1955, there's an old movie called Summertime. It's starring Katharine Hepburn. I'm a classic movie buff, by the way. And the setting of this takes entirely within Venice. And it's really cool. I remember watching it like a long time ago. And then right after I got back, I watched it again. And it's like, I now can identify all the places that we were, like all the big landmarks and all the historical places. It's really cool. So, okay, so there you can see there's the Rialto Bridge. One of the four bridges spanning the Grand Canal. Now, according to the one tour guide, originally there weren't any bridges. You would have to get a ferry to take you across back and forth. But now they have the bridges to help you cross your way. Okay. You can see the architecture is just breathtaking. This is a view from the bridge. You can see looking down the Grand Canal. Yeah, it's exactly like you see in the pictures on movies, you know. Yeah. All right, here we have video footage. This is me approaching the Rialto Bridge. Oh, by the way, I think you can see it. Yeah, like, oh, well, let me pause. Oh, there's one of the bus stations again, by the way, the Rialto bus station. Let me see if there's a view. Yeah, okay, so you see these platforms here with, like, the legs. I had no idea. See, like, when I first saw these, I thought it was just going to be some sort of special event, like a concert or a ceremony, because, like, you see stuff like that. But later on, the one tour guide told us exactly what these are for. And again, as you know, Venice is completely surrounded by water. And when there's water, you're susceptible to flooding. And from time to time, depending on the tides, some of the walkways end up getting flooded. So then they would lay these platforms down for the people to step on. Yeah, so they don't have to wade in water. But then he said recently, I forget exactly what year it was. The one tour guide said they installed dikes like outside of the lagoon to help with flood control, and that really helps regulate and minimize the flooding. It's going to start in the beginning, I guess. Oh, it's a brief video. Alright, there we are. Alrighty, so this is the square, or the Campo della Fava, where our hotel is. It's not visible in this picture. It's off to the right, just to the right side of the church. Now I'm gonna have to, I think it might be on this map, but I'm not entirely sure. I forget the exact name, the full name of the church. And we didn't get a chance to go inside because we weren't here on a Sunday. Anyway, here's one of the many brochures that we got. Ali Laguna, one of the many like services, and they offer a special ride for tourists. It goes to like 3 small islands. I'll get to a little bit later, but that's the schedule, and then on the inside there's a map. So here you can see, get a rough idea of what if it'll cooperate with me, a rough idea of what Venice looks like. I think you guys can see it. Yeah, it's like basically, it looks like one big island, but it's basically a series of interconnected islands. And then try to see the name of the church. Give me a moment, I'm gonna break the magic. Human alert. Let's see here. Alrighty. Da, 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 da. Come on, where are you? See, I still trying to get my bearings around here. Yeah, and it was where we're located. It was essentially between like the Rialto Bridge and the Piazza San Marco. Yeah. Oh, it just says Rambo Fava, or basically it's yeah, just it's called Della Fava, and I believe that's like another Venetian term for beans. And there's like a backstory. I looked some of this up on Wikipedia, but I kind of I forgot most of it. If you're really interested in like the history and lore, you can always look that up later. But yeah. So there's a church anyway. All right. Moving on. So here's one of the many gondolas you can see there. And yeah, this canal's as soon as approaching the Campo della Fava, the square where a hotel is. It's many bridges, many canals. Yep. There are tolls right off to the right there. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah. So the one way to compare this, I always look at this like a video game map, because like there's so many different like twisty, windy, narrow walkways, almost like a maze. You can also like treat it like a game, and like everywhere you go, there's like docks to get on and off boats. So, yeah, it's so different from anywhere I've ever been before. Here we are walking down one of the many walkways. Lots of shops and boutiques like selling souvenirs. A lot of them are pretty much the same, all sort of knickknacks and trinkets. Lots of pizzerias, as you can imagine. And other restaurants. Yeah, lots of stuff there. Alright, here's the first view of the Basilica San Marco. Just look at it, it's just so beautiful. This is basically the focal point of the city. So that's looking at the side view. And then here is another side view of it. You get another. And here's the view of the front. Disregard the scaffolding again, construction. The scaffolding on the left, but then just look at the beautiful design. The wing line is a symbol of Venice. I forget exactly, and I hate saying I forget stuff. There's a lot of information, but I forget exactly what it symbolizes or the lore behind it. But yeah, that's a symbol of Venice and its flag. And there you can see like the 4 horses there, which is really cool. And yes, I might be slightly biased in that regard. And inside, later on, I'll show you. There's 4 additional horse statues, and I believe the tour guide said they represent the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, of the apocalypse, from Revelation. Here we have video footage of the main entrance. Yeah, there's the ever-present line of people waiting to go in. Like by that, I booked all our tours ahead of time. And like a lot of the guys, like there's options where you could do like a skip the line, where you get treated like VIP, and you literally get to skip the line and go right in, which is really nice. In case there might be more pictures, but in case you missed it, around the perimeter outside is a plastic, like a plastic wall, plastic fence. or it's not plastic, excuse me, glass. It's glass. And then that's another way of helping to ward off flooding if there is ever a case of the plaza being flooded. Now here we are in the Piazza San Marco, the big plaza. Outside there's lots of outdoor cafes and restaurants with live musicians. And this is like the main water area, like where the Grand Canal empties out into the lagoon. And you have, of course, a whole bunch of docks. That's the Doge's Palace there, also called the Palazzo Ducale in Italy, Italian. And off to the left is the library. Like later on we did actually tour inside the Doge's Palace. It's really beautiful. Hey Rex, good to see you. Buongiorno. Yeah, it's just so beautiful, and it's so well. Everything is so well preserved. It's literally living history when you're there. Here's another view of the Basilica San Marco, facing this side. This is the clock tower, and then at the top there, these figures would actually move to ring the bell at certain times. Kind of like in Germany, you have the Glockenspiel. And then this is the bell tower for the basilica. All right, here's another view of the Palazzo Ducale, or Doge's Palace. There's the library, and then you see those two columns. The one has that lion figurine again. I forget what the other figure is. Again, here you can see the cloudy, ominous skies. What are the other churches off there, that island across? Yeah, so this is pretty much like the commercial, or excuse me, like the government center of the city. Back in the day, when Venice was its own separate entity and government, the Doge's Palace, the Palazzo Ducale, is where like the Doge governed and lived. The Doge was basically like the king, except the Doge was elected, but then he kept his term for life, and then once he died, then they would have another election for the next Doge. Yeah. So this is the government and religious center with of course the Basilica San Marco, and then the Rialto area. That district is all the commercial with the markets and everything. And if you've ever remember reading and remember, I'm pretty sure most, if not all of you, have read The Merchant of Venice, the play by Shakespeare. Obviously, it takes place here in Venice, and the main character, well, not one of them, well, one of them, the main character I believe is Antonio. He's the merchant. I forget what he was a merchant of, what he made. But then one of the other characters is Shylock. He's a Jew, and there was a huge Jewish population here too. So, yeah, little rusty on how the story goes, but yeah, another interesting tidbit. Here's another view of the church, whose name escapes me. Yeah. And then here's a view from the boat, looking toward the Piazza San Marco. Here you can see the dome of the Piazza. Or excuse me, the Basilica, and there's the bell tower. Yep. Lots of water. And here we are. There's the bell tower again. Yep, here we are on the boat excursion on the Ali Laguna. Yeah, and the tour guide spoke Italian, German, and French, and English. Italian, German, and English. So right now she's speaking German. You may or may not be able to hear, but I noticed, and as someone who studied German in college and majored, or should be minored in it, I could understand a lot of it. But what did I really understand? I could really hear. You can hear she actually has an accent when she speaks German, like an Italian accent speaking German. Yeah. But she had to do a lot of talking. She had to say it all in Italian, all in German, and then all in English. Here's a view inside the boat, of course. Yeah, I always love riding on boats and sailing across the water. So So yeah, this is like the first full day. We did an overnight flight. We arrived the following morning, checked into our hotel, and then just as in the afternoon, we did the boat cruise. And this specific one goes to the three small islands of Murano, Torcello, and Burano. And Murano is known for the glass making, and I have some cool footage in a short while. And I always was intrigued and fascinated by glass. And if you guys ever been to the Corning Museum of Glass in southern New York, it's really cool. Definitely worth the trip there. And then you do like live glass blowing demonstrations and all that. It's so beautiful there. So that's what Murano's most known for. Torcello, there's not much there, but that was effectively like the original, where the Venetians originally settled, like the oldest settlement there. We just stopped there. Well, I won't get too far ahead of time, and I'll show you when I get there. And then finally, the third island is Burano, and that's known for lace making. They're handmade lace, and also like the multicolored fishermen's houses. So you'll see that too. All right, so here we are. Is Juno Matsukato. I believe that's the name of the guy that does the glass making. So here we are in Murano. Yeah, and then so just the outside. And I'm not sure if this is Gino himself. I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm not putting my money on it. But yeah, here he is doing a live glass blowing demonstration. It's really cool. There you can see the brick ovens. You have just like, for pizza, the brick ovens for a lot of stuff. I feel like Italy is like parts of Seattle when it comes to weather, cloudy and rainy. Yeah, well, I've always thought it was under impression since it's Mediterranean, it's sunnier more than it's cloudy. But I was sadly mistaken. I don't know if it just hit a bad weather patch or whatnot. But yeah, it was cloudy most of the time. Let's see, Rex is saying, as usual, I need to work. Oh, you look at the whole thing tomorrow. Yep, it'll still be here when I'm done. So have a good day at work, and yeah, hope everything goes well for you. Yeah, this guy's funny. He has a good sense of humor. And there's times he's actually smoking. Like, he'll be blowing glass with a freaking cigarette in his mouth just to be a show-off. I'm not sure of the exact terminology and all that, but here in the next video you'll see. So there's the pole where it uses to blow the glass. There's the hot glass area. You see how pliable it is? It's almost like taffy. It's like liquid. So there he is rolling to shape it, and then of course then he blows it to the pole to expand it. Yeah, so where he's sticking it now, that's where he gets the actual glass from. Unfortunately, for where I was sitting, I couldn't see into it. Yeah, look at it. It's just like, play with candy. There he goes, posing for the camera. Yeah, the woman there is basically explaining the process. Yeah, look at those cool chandeliers hanging there. Kind of reminds me of Pollyanna. If you guys ever seen the Disney movie Pollyanna, like when she visits the old guy's house with like the crystals and the lamps. There he goes. I just think it's funny he's like smoking while doing this. Yep, using the tongs to shape it. And Brimstone says, dude's a boss, no gloves. Of course, I don't know how hot it gets. Yeah. Well, he'll show you. He'll show you exactly how hot it gets. Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing, that's for sure. Does everything so effortlessly. Yeah, look at all the different tools that he uses. Look at that, it's almost like a lollipop, you know, like taffy or a lollipop. Yeah, just a quick side note, as you're watching. Yeah, the one, like I said, I'll try not to say it too many times. Yeah, rainy weather there. And my mom said the entire time I was gone, it was like sunny here at home in the U.S. Like, we haven't had rain since the early part of the month. I was like, why couldn't we have that kind of weather, you know, in Italy? But, you know, it is what it is. Now, look at this. He's holding a piece of paper. He touches the paper to the cup that he just made. And look at that. It ignites. That shows you just how hot it is. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the reason he puts it in the brick oven is like to harden it, to solidify the glass. Now he's gonna have some fun. Looks just like blowy bubbles. It's crazy how flexible it is when it's hot like that. Oh, he comes right up to me. He tells me to touch it. I hesitated, like, are you sure? At first, yeah, it feels like a bubble, and then it starts. Then it feels kind of like plastic. Kind of like a plastic wrap or saran wrap around food. Yeah, it does look like a tail. Just you wait. This is coming up shortly. This is a special treat. Pardon me while I ruin the magic. Whew. Watching all the ovens and stuff is making me hot. Hi, Jerry. Good to see you. Now here we go with the treat. Watch what he's gonna make. Max says for lunch he had cup noodles curry flavor, most popular ramen flavor in Japan. Yeah, you may or may not have heard the woman say like he's gonna make a little horse, and in Italian is cavallino. Yeah. If you're a little bit familiar with the Italian language, I have a little bit of familiarity because, like, you know, having a musical background, and of course, that's the language of music. Instead of saying like little horse, they would like add like suffixes to the end, like cavallino, which is like little, like ino means little horse, like or bambino is baby, you know, like yeah. Look how he does this. He like pulls out of like taffy. Look how quickly and easily he does this. From the looks of things, he has to work fast because it looks like it hardens really quickly, so he has to work fast. Yep, there it is. See how hot it is? That sets fire to the paper. All right, so there's the. See, I told you it was quite a treat, wasn't it? I was tempted to buy one of them because at the gift shop they have a whole bunch of them for sale, but I didn't really have that much money on me because like I didn't really. Oh, before I get too far, I should mention. Here's a €5 bill. Of course, Italy, along with a lot of European countries, uses the euro. Yep, so there's €5. And back in the day, before the euro came out, their currency was the lira, the Italian lira. Here's the continuation. Yeah, it is beautiful, Max. Alright, here's the picture of the brick ovens. And there's this workstation. Soon that euro is pretty much widespread across Europe, including Finland. I forget exactly if Finland's included, but the majority of European countries are, with the exception of most notably, of course, United Kingdom still has their pound because that's, I believe, the most valuable currency in the world. They're excluded. Switzerland has the CHF, the Confederation Helvetica Franc, the CHF franc. Czech Republic has the krone or krona or something like that. So there are a few countries that are excluded. Close up of the horse again. And then here's the gift shop. And you can see the different horses. There's multicolored ones. Yeah, look at all this stuff. A lot of cool stuff. Alright, then we move on to the next island, which is Torcello. Not much to see there. Like we just stopped there for lunch. They had a mini outdoor cafeteria, and got like a pizza pocket and some French fries. So it was really good. Yeah. There's like a brick walkway leading from the dock into the quote unquote town. And there's one of the canal there. And then here's a footage of Burano, the third island. This is where the multicolored fishermen's houses are. And is also known for their handmade lace. There's the main dock area where people come and go. Here's one of the many canals of Burano. I love the way, the style of the houses and the colors. There's all the different boats. Narrow walkways. It just looks so vintage European. Row homes with colors. And there's this little fellow walking around. And then here's a typical sign for the streets, like Via di Mazzoro or Via di Mazzorbo. Yeah, Via is what they call their streets. Oops, went too far. Yeah, so like all throughout they would have like the stone signs rather than like metal street signs like we have here in the U.S. And then while waiting for our boat to come back, just look at this huge ship. Kind of reminded me of the Titanic. Not really, but it's like a really long boat. Alright, so I think that's all. Yeah, that's all the pictures for the first day. Alright, the second day, we had a guided tour of St. Mark's Basilica San Marco. And we had the darndest time finding the meeting place. Like, it tells us, like, oh, be at this campo. But we had no idea, I think it's called Campo Zaccaria or something like that. we had the darndest time. We kept stopping to ask for directions. Oh, go down, just go that way, go that way, go that way. And then finally, we stumbled upon it. But before we got there, we stopped by at a local cafe, and they served this thing. I forget the exact name. It's similar to like a croissant. That's a common breakfast food in Italy. This is the church, by the way, obviously, as you can see. Yeah, so here's the breakfast. Yeah, we got like one of those Italian croissants, and then I got some juice. My dad drinks coffee. I don't do coffee, just not my thing. So I often would get like different juices like orange or pineapple or what have you. Yeah, the one I got on the left there's with chocolate, and they also have like some with like they call marmalade, like with jelly in it or plain. Yeah, and then as we're eating, here the rain starts falling. Just a brief drizzle. It's just all throughout. The stubborn rain clouds. All right, and yeah, here's the church across the plaza where we're actually supposed to meet for the tour. Bristow says he would love to visit Italy as well as Australia. Yeah, well, Italy's officially, obviously, off my list now. Australia, I would love to visit one day. But yeah, it was like the flight, I think it was about 7 hours and change flying out there. And then coming back, it was like 9 hours, just shy of 9 hours because you're flying against the wind. But it was a long, like, for me, it seemed long. But I mean, like Australia, it's probably going to be like at least 12 hours, I think. I believe like JFK does direct flights to like Sydney and other places. Because before you would have to fly out like the West Coast, like LAX or somewhere, and then connect to go out there. But now they do direct flights. All right, this is as we're heading toward the Basilica San Marco. We're walking along the group, and I'm just like here's video footage of all the different shops along the way. As you can see, the narrow streets. Yeah, this all throughout the city. And the thing is, with the tour guide, they always carry a flag, hold a flag so you can always find them. And then they have a microphone, and each person in the group gets like earphones or headphones, so that you could actually hear them speak. Because otherwise it would be impossible because there's so many people there. Yeah, lots of souvenirs. Those masks are a common thing that you'll see in the streets. Masks and glass and like magnets and t-shirts, hoodies. There's one of the many bridges that go over the canals. Yeah, see all the bridges spanning there. Oh, speaking of souvenirs, so like along the way, I got a few of myself. So let's see. Oh yeah, so for Venice, I got this one. It says Venezia. That's the Italian name for Venice, Venezia, and it has all the different landmarks. It's the Basilica San Marco, the Rialto Bridge, the Palazzo Ducale, Doge's Palace. Yeah, all the different landmarks there. All right, now here we are in the actual Basilica San Marco, St. Mark's Basilica. Look how beautiful it is. And you see the folding chairs, they do conduct certain masses every Sunday. So, but I believe we came here on a Thursday. So it's just like, look at it, it's just so beautiful, like the way history is preserved. And then throughout, like, the tour guide would be speaking, and she would actually have, like, a laser pointer. Because, like, a lot of stuff's, like, high up above or in the ceiling, and she would, like, use her pointer to point stuff out. In the middle there, in the alcove, I think it's called, is where the remains of St. Mark are laid. Not in that specific one, in the middle one, you'll see later on. Yeah, look how high the ceilings are and the artwork. Max says, I believe the pesos is the same used in the Philippines and Mexico. Same. Yeah, it makes sense because I believe the Philippines is Spanish. Yeah. All right, so here's the middle. There's the alcove. There's the dome. Another dome. That's the main dome there, of course. And a lot of like the murals there, they actually tell stories, from the Bible, the characters and events. Each of them tells a story. Try not to get too dizzy. Yep, there's another picture inside. So big. So big, so high. Alright, so here it's kind of hard to see, but in the back there is where St. Mark's remains supposedly are lay. Just facing the other way. And eventually we go upstairs. There's a museum upstairs that we're able to go out to the balcony and see from that angle. Here's the ceiling again. Another picture. Oh yeah, this is like we came here right around noon, 12 noon, and around that time the tour guide said like it has a special illumination, like a golden light, so it looks even cooler. There you can see it illuminated. All right, yeah, this is in the museum. The four horses symbolizing the apocalypse. Yeah, it's cool how many horse things there are off my trip. All right, and then here's a view from the balcony facing that way. Alrighty, and then we go step outside to the balcony facing the piazza. On the left there's the Palazzo Ducale. The right's the library, and then there's the two columns. With the left one being the winged lion, the symbol of Venice. I forget what the right one is, but yeah, this is like the main town square of the city of Venice. Yeah, you're right, Brimstone. It is very beautiful. Oh yeah, and outside there's a bunch of pigeons decided to take a bath in the fountain. There's lots of pigeons all throughout. I remember, like, the following day we were waiting for the tour, the group, like, we're all assembling, and I guess it was raining again. Surprise, surprise. And here, we're underneath like a roof, like a porch area, and they're like poles that supports, and a whole bunch of pigeons were just perched on there, to shield themselves from the rain. Yeah, don't blame them. Oh yeah, so this is the Museo della Musica. We went there later that evening. It's called the Museum of Music in Venice. It's really, really cool. It's a beautiful building. Whole bunch of old antique instruments. Played really nice music in the background, as you could probably hear. So here's a whole bunch of stringed instruments, like lutes and violins and cellos. For those of you who don't know, I do play the oboe. So, and I'm a huge music buff. So this was a special treat. And it was really, like, the price was like €2 a person to get in, so it was like really cheap to go. Definitely worth a visit if you're ever there. Yeah, I think on the left is a harpsichord. I forget what the thing on the right is. Of course, these are all like Baroque instruments during the Baroque era. That's before the piano was invented. All right, here we have a case of woodwind instruments. Here we have an old antique oboe. Of course, that struck my fancy. You see, back in the day, they didn't have as many keys as you do now. There's some flutes, some more old oboes. It says, heard about the Vatican, birthplace of Roman Catholicism, smallest country. Yep, we were there. Yep, yep. Just hang tight. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Here we have some clarinets. I'm commonly confused with the oboe because they look very similar, except the one main distinction is, of course, the single versus double reed, and the other thing is the oboe has a conical. It starts small and gets wider down, whereas this It's cylindrical. It's the same diameter, the entire length. There's an old bassoon. You got more clarinets. Look at that thing. They got trumpets all twisted and bent like a corkscrew. Imagine playing that thing. Alrighty, so here we have took a whole bunch of pictures of from the museum. I think those are lutes. There's some violins. There's the central area. I believe that's either a dulcimer or a zither. I think it's a dulcimer, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here we have more of the woodwind instruments. There's that corkscrew trumpet again. The bassoon. Alright, and then this one area, it has a whole bunch of tools, like for making the string instruments specifically. Like, I never knew how they were made, but you can see like they use stencils, and in the next picture you see like varnish and stain, like resin. Yep, there you can see the different, like the resin. If you've ever seen the movie The Red Violin, it kind of reminds me of that. It's a really, really nice movie if you've never seen it before. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's in Italian, German, and English. And it basically the whole story is based upon the violin, as the name suggests. And so there's this violin maker, and his wife dies or whatever. And I believe, and it sounds kind of creepy, but it's, it is what it is. I believe he uses her blood as part of the stain for the violin, hence the name The Red Violin. And it follows the life of the violin, passing from one owner to the next to the next. So it's a really, I think it's a really cool movie. Here you see some harpsichords. And there's this caption. Yeah, if you want to read it, you can feel free to come back and pause it. It'll be there for you. Museo della Musica. Yeah. Alright, and then this is right outside the church. I think it's called the San Vidal. And we reserved concert tickets for a Baroque concert that evening, and so that was really cool. We got there early enough that we actually got front row seats for that. So yeah, that was something else. So it's like a chamber orchestra playing like Vivaldi, the Four Seasons, the Quattro Stagioni, and then also like a piece by Handel, and then also another Vivaldi piece. Here's like a booklet. Yep. And let me quickly consult the program. So the first half you do the Four Seasons, and then do a brief intermission. Then you do George Frederick Handel's Concerto Grosso per tu violini. Yeah. Anyway, and then finally Vivaldi's Concerto per violino. Violin Concerto. Yeah. But that's really cool. Like the attended orchestra, it's live orchestra concert. So in the meantime, we got there a little early, so we decided to kill some time. So we stopped by for dinner at Le Café Restaurant. Very generic name, but the food was anything but generic. It was really good. So here's a view of the typical Italian restaurant menu. It's really easy to read because like a lot of words are similar between Italian and English, and of course they do have English words by all the Italian names. So it's really they have all the different appetizers, all the wines and beer. They have salads. Of course, they have pizza, which is what I ended up getting. Yeah. So here's the prosciutto, which is like a pizza with ham on it, and it was so freaking good. I can't adequately describe how delicious it was. Yeah, this is actually very similar to like pizza you have here in the States. Not exactly like New York style pizza, but it's very similar to that. But yeah, this is, oh my god, it was so good. Yeah. And then we were killing some more time. So here's one of the other bridges that spans over the Grand Canal. Obviously, this is nighttime. And there you can see the Basilica San Marco in the background. There's the video footage. There's again one of the quote-unquote bus stations. Yeah, you have no idea, Brimstone. It's, yeah. Whew. Yeah, Italian food, it's so good, especially in Italy. Yeah. Alright, here's inside the church where the concert takes place. Look at just the high ceilings and the beautiful artwork. And then, like I said, we were lucky enough to get front row seats. So there's the setup. And there's another view. Unfortunately, it didn't allow photography, so I couldn't take pictures during the concert or show the musicians. But you know, it was still a treat nonetheless. And then this is facing backwards. You can see the pipes there from the organ. All right, and I'm coming back at the canal. There are the steps of a whole bunch of fish decided to just flop around. Yeah, lots of fish. All right, here. This is the following morning. We're headed toward the Rialto Plaza or Campo di Rialto. This is we're standing on the Rialto Bridge, looking at the Grand Canal. Yeah. Yeah, the view just never gets old. There's a bridge, boat coming underneath. Yep, gelato too. Yeah, we had quite a bit of that when we were in Rome, Max. Yeah. Yeah, but as you can see, the skies remain cloudy, remain overcast. Yeah, the stubborn clouds. The weather is pretty comfortable to here in the northeast U.S. Like, it's pretty much the same type of weather, minus of course like the omnipresent clouds. But like temperature wise, yeah, it was like most of the time it was like the highs were in the 60s. Yeah, in Rome it was slightly warmer, and believe it or not, there was actually one day where we actually had sunshine and it got up to like the mid 70s. Imagine that. All right, and here's the square where we convene for the next tour. As you can see by looking at the wet ground, yes, it rained again, so we're shielding ourselves under the roof. All right, so then this tour was like a longer tour, and the tour guide's name was Elena. I remember because she was such a great tour guide, very knowledgeable, very informative, very thorough. And this is right at the meeting place. Now, in case you're wondering what this is, on this pedestal, it's basically where the town crier stood. Because back in the day, there was no such thing as newspapers, certainly no internet or anything like that. So, like, if there's any news to report or anything, he would go up these steps and then stand atop the pedestal to announce the news. Here we are yet again at the Rialto Bridge. Actually, no, I take that back. This is not the Rialto Bridge. This is slightly farther down. This is at the open air market, the Rialto Market. And then she's like talking about, like, you know, back in the day before the bridge, you had to take a ferry to get to and from, go across the canal. Alrighty, so brace yourselves for this. So this is one of the many food stands. This is a butcher shop meat market. And one of the items that they have for sale, it says salami di cavallo. Can any of you guys venture a guess of what kind of meat that is? Salami di cavallo? I had to do a double take. Yeah, cue the Jeopardy music. Alrighty. So it is horse meat. Yes, you heard me right. Horse meat. Elena even said apparently in Venice, yeah, horse is a delicacy. I had to do a double take, but cultures are different, and with some people's gourmets, other person's garbage, and whatever. But yeah, so anywho, moving on. So here's a whole bunch of produce, like fruits and all that. The open air market. And you do this every morning. And they're only open until about lunchtime, because then, of course, the food starts to spoil and go bad. But yeah, if you want fresh food, this is where you go. Hey, Callias. Buongiorno. And here we are. Here we have some seafood items. Lots and lots of seafood, obviously, because you're surrounded by water. Yes, look at all this delicious meat. I ordered as much when I was over in Italy. I ordered as much seafood as I could because I don't have it that often at home. So, yeah. Yep, lots and lots of fish and it's like clams. I guess I could always speak for myself, but horse meat is very uncommon, if at all. I yeah, as an American, like horses are not seen as food, not at all. They're obviously seen. They're pets, domesticated animals. Yeah, well, of course, other animals are domesticated and brought to the slaughterhouse, but no, horses are not seen as food. Generally speaking, as an American. Oh, this is cool. This is funny. You can see the crabs. Of course, a lot of the seafood is still living. Take a look at this. they're all hooked onto each other. Yeah, that's cool. That's funny. See the crabs like all linked to each other. You can see some shrimp and some other fish. Everything's so fresh. All right, and then we eventually make our way away from the Rialto market, and in one of the shop windows here, they're selling spices, and spices were almost as rare, even more valuable than gold, because back in the day, it was prior to like Marco Polo and all the other trade merchants. And yes, and she was adamant that Marco Polo was not an explorer; he was a merchant. He was all strictly a businessman. So yeah, but lots and lots of spices, and this was obviously this is the main like impetus, and instead of for not only exploration but traveling is for spices and prompted all the other explorers and for those that don't know, Marco Polo's hometown is Venice. Yeah. Here's yet another view from the Rialto Bridge. All right, and then this is facing the other way, and this building here, this big building in the foreground, I forget the exact name of it, but what she said was it's basically like a big storehouse. And the bottom floor is like a big warehouse where like a lot of like foreign merchants would come and travel. They would store their stuff there and sell it. And then in the upper floors is kind of like a big like boarding house or hotel. And what they said was like they were really friendly with the foreigners until like sunset, and then once during nighttime they would actually lock the doors and wouldn't let them out because they didn't like really trust them. But that was what it was back in the day. Here's yet another view of the Rialto Bridge up close. Alrighty, and then we make our way down, and then this is supposedly where Marco Polo lived, and this is like the only original like doorway left. Yeah, you can see how old everything's just so old looking, but yeah, that's apparently. And she told like stories about him. Like a lot of people know, like he went all the way out to like India and China and traded, and then there's a story like eventually he was actually pulled into like the military, and back in the day, like a lot of the Italian city-states would war amongst themselves, for territory. So of course Venice is on the east coast, adjacent to the Adriatic Sea, and they would often fight with like Naples or Napoli, which is on the west coast on the Tyrrhenian Sea. And what happened was that the Naples won, and so they took the Venetians as prisoners, and then basically, so he was in prison for I forget it, maybe about a year or something like that, until the town was able to accumulate enough money to pay for his freedom. So yeah, Marco Polo was in jail for a little bit. And there's just another view of the canals. Yep, here we are again at the Basilica San Marco. Now, this other tour guide went to the same place. It was just the way the tours worked out. Oh, by the way, there's a view of her holding an umbrella. That's Elena. Yeah, she's super nice. Yeah. And there's another view of the Piazza San Marco. Yeah, and all along there are shops and restaurants. Yeah, it's really beautiful. So let's just explain so like we did all that in the morning, then we broke away for lunch. Oh, like we did the gondola ride, and then no, we did lunch first, then the gondola ride, and then we would go back inside the Basilica San Marco, and then finally we ended with the Palazzo Ducale, the Doge's palace. So here we are on board the gondola. This is really fun. Yeah, they're really skilled at steering the boats, and then you see the bridges are pretty low, so they would have to bend over to be able to negotiate the bridges. So you can see how narrow some of the canals can be. That's kind of funny. And then the rower, or whatever you call it, the operator, he was like talking to the phone the majority of the time, so you could hear him talking in Italian. Give myself another breather. Now here we are approaching the Grand Canal. You see how low the bridge is, right? I know I guess you could possibly see the hand cart, like the hand trucks, as a primary mode of transport of goods. And Elena would explain they have the right of way, like the people with the hand trucks. They'll say attenzione, attenzione. It means get out of the way, because they're not. So she said they're not stopping. They're not going to stop. Here's the Rialto Bridge again. Yep, it's just their main street. A lot of fancy houses and buildings. Move it along just a little. I'm not exactly sure what this building is with the flags. But here you can see the EU flag, European Union, the Italian flags, and then the Venetian flag. Fast forward just a little bit. And this building here is, I believe, the City Hall, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Oh, that couple rode with us on the boat, by the way. Oh yeah, there's the same building again. The City Hall building. Here we are again at the Piazza San Marco. Hey, Robert. There's, of course, the Basilica. There's the bell tower. There's the omnipresent gray sky. There's one of the many museums, Museo Correr. We did not go inside that one, but went inside a lot of other places. Another view of the square. Oh yeah, this is the place where we got on the gondolas. They're all like lined up there in a row. More scaffolding construction. All right, so yeah, yes, I took a lot of pictures. Same thing, but this view specifically at the Basilica San Marco, it tells the story of how Saint Mark's remains were actually brought here to Venice. Like for the longest time, they were supposedly in Egypt, and then, of course, the Muslims were in control at that time, and so in order to remove the body or the bones from Egypt to Venice, they came up with a clever plan. This basket is the remains, and what they did was they covered the remains. They covered the bones in pork, because like that's I don't know if you go to Islam or not, but pork's a major no-no. They're not allowed to eat that. So when people went to inspect the basket, they saw the pork. It's like, oh, no, get that out of here! Get out of here! They get that away from us. So that's how they were able to smuggle St. Mark's remains to Venice successfully. So it's funny how these these paintings and frescoes tell the stories. Yeah. All right, this is inside the Palazzo Ducale, the Doge's palace, the courtyard, and as I mentioned before, this was the seat of government, where the Doge lived and worked. He was effectively the king of Venice, although he was not a monarch. He would be elected and serve lifelong terms. Another view of the courtyard. You see the basilica right behind there with the domes. You got any more scaffolding? You can disregard that. All right, here we are inside, and a lot of ornate ceilings, and yeah, a lot of murals there. Fancy stairway. This is looking down. You had all the different rooms, so look all the gold and the beautiful paintings. Yeah, but everything's so fancy. Yeah, it's a palace for sure. There you can see the floor. Not quite as fancy. I'm not entirely sure what this room is. I think it might have been where the Senate convened. Yeah. so many beautiful paintings everywhere. Yeah, just so beautiful. Okay, this room I believe is where like they held their trials, like the judge's room. And she said, Elena said, I believe it's this door here. Although I could be mistaken, like off to the right side. It was like a secret entrance from the prison, like the dungeon down below. They would bring in the prisoner to get tried. And yeah. So they would bring him out here to get judged. Yep, there it is again. You can kind of see like the one panel's off color. And this is the main hallway. This is the main hall, excuse me. And along the top of the wall there are all the different doges from the beginning to the last one. Yeah, and then the doge will be in the middle there, seated up front. And the reason why so there's the first one is the reason why the second one's black is because he misbehaved. Like he wanted to usurp power and kind of throw away the whole system, and basically become a dictator. And then the rulers, the other people that be were like, no, we're not having that. So that he was publicly executed. And then basically he was made an example of, and then everyone going forward was like, okay, yeah, we don't want to deal with that. So, yeah. Yeah, there's where the doge. Where's my cursor? Anyway, that's where the doji would sit there in the middle. All right, here we are en route to the dungeon, the prison. So there's a typical cell. Very hospitable, isn't it? Very inviting. And what you have to do to cross from the palace to the dungeon, there's this thing called the Bridge of Sighs. And they call it that because effectively this is like your last look of freedom, last look out at freedom and for the window, and they would sigh knowing that's their fate. Yes, so part of the blurriness, but this is inside the one cell. And surprisingly, there's some graffiti, like somebody was here in 1923, and I believe the following year, or like, is it 24 or 25, whatever, it was still in use that recently, until they built the newer prison. You have another view of one of the cells. All right, here's a view inside the Bridge of Sighs. Yeah. And then this is crossing back into the palace, and you can look out, and here's a view of the Bridge of Sighs from the outside. Yeah. All right, here's another view of the the Palazzo, or excuse me, the Piazza San Marco at sunset. Here you can see the sun's trying its darndest to peek out of the clouds, but to no avail. I really like this picture of the gondolas there with the churches in the background. It's facing the other way. There's that church again. I can't remember the name. Across on the island there. There's a statue. Not sure who that is, but just thought it looked cool. Another view of the library. And oh yeah, the last night we were there, we went to this gourmet pizzeria, and so there's a lemon soda. It was really good. The thing I noticed between American and Italian soda is Italian soda is not as carbonated as American soda, and it's not as sugary. It's not like overpowering. It's good flavor, but it just tastes. I think it tastes better. Yeah. And then here's another pizza. This is a different style. This is called latte pomodoro, which I believe latte means milk or like cream, like cream cheese or ricotta cheese. With the pomodoro was Italian for tomato, and with the fresh basil leaves as well. That was pretty good. As good as this was, I still preferred the other pizza. I just thought the prosciutto. That was really I like that one better, but they were still both good. All right, and then the following day, we get up early, get our water taxi to the train station, and this is the first step back into like modern civilization. It's crazy because like most stations, you step outside, it's busy street with cars, taxis, buses. No, you step outside, and unfortunately, I have a view facing the other way. You're right at the Grand Canal. That's their main street. Like I said a million times, but anyway, that'll probably be the last time you hear me mention that. So. Yeah, but this is their train station, and you can see, yes, it's under construction. The other theme. So yes, the majority of the time on the train, it was raining, and while we're waiting for the train on the platform, there's construction. You hear jackhammers and workers and beeping. Yeah. So here we are at the platforms waiting for the train, and then you see all the different rail lines, and we're waiting to see what track our platform our train's going to be on. So our plan was to take the train from Venice to Rome. And here you can see the construction, the inevitable construction. And here's a picture take on the train, just showing some Italian countryside. Excuse me. So yeah, our destination was Rome, but along the way we went through the cities like Bologna and Florence, and then eventually we made it to Rome. Yeah. You see this down the present storm clouds. We went through a fair amount of tunnels too, and I believe that's because of the topography, a lot of hills, and yeah, so that's why there were so many tunnels. Oh yeah, but here we are arriving at Rome, and there's a shot of the train that we were on. Yeah. Oh yeah, I should mention before I get too far on the train ride. It was a full house, crowded house, and the seats kind of like diagonal behind us, not directly across the aisle, but like right behind us, diagonal behind us. There's this couple. And I believe they're American because the one guy had said he was talking to other people. He was a Vietnam veteran, and so yeah, commendable for his service. But oh my God, his companion, I assume it's his wife or whatever, she was just talking nonstop the entire train ride. Like, was it 4 hours? And she's like oh my God, I felt so bad for him. I pitied him. She was like talking, and like a lot of times she was like arguing. I was like laughing. At some point, I was like bursting out of laughter. I couldn't hold it in, and like she was like saying, "Oh, you answered my question before I answered, or you answered my question before I asked it." It's like, and I was like saying, "Oh, yeah, like kilometer is like 0.6 miles." It's like, and then she's like, "Well, you don't know what you're talking about," and she's like, "Calm down." She's like, "Shh, calm down." It's like, and I'm thinking, "Lady, you're the one who needs to calm down, not him." And then one of the stops right before Rome. The guy started gathering his stuff, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "This is our stop." He's like, "Are you sure?" And he announced it. I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like 4 hours, this lady was bad enough. I can't imagine being married to this woman. Poor guy. But it was almost like a sitcom. It was just so funny and absurd. Anyway, that was just a brief side note. So here we are in Rome at the train station. Yep, and here you can see the tracks or the platforms. Very, very different atmosphere than Venice. We're back in 21st century modernity. Yep. Very, very busy. There's inside the station with all the shops. Yeah, we didn't really want to fool around too much. As soon as we got there, we wanted to grab the taxi to get to our hotel to check in, because later that day we had a tour scheduled. And here's the outside of the station. And here's a better view. This is actually taken at a later day, because one of our tours started from here. So there's a view, and as you can see, there's, yes, more construction. It's everywhere you go. Yeah. Alrighty, and here's just a random street in Rome. You see a golf cart. They are street legal, so you'll often see them, and motorcycles and motorbikes. And the thing about Rome, not with all due respect to them, from my standpoint, they're kind of crazy drivers. Like, and that's just the way it is. And when, you know what the expression, when in Rome, do as the Romans do? Well, I mean, they all drive so fast, and that's just the way their speed limit is. Like, they just zoom, zoom, zoom. Like here in the U.S., normally your street speed in the city's like 25 or maybe 35. There they're going at least 45 and not higher. Yeah, and a lot of streets like old cobblestone and all that. It's like, it's a miracle they don't get flat tires for driving so fast on those bumpy stones. Oh, here's one of the restaurants. This is actually an Irish pub, believe it or not. Ordered like a fish sandwich with fries, and there you can see the Fanta in the back. And it's different from the American or North American Fanta. And it has more like a grapefruit flavor. I actually liked it. Again, it's not as sugary, not as carbonated, but it was really good. Yeah. Another view of one of the streets in Rome. So that evening, or late afternoon in the evening, we had a private golf cart tour, and he took us around to all like the main sites, mainly for photo ops or pictures. Because later on, that we actually stopped and went inside, and you know, on our own like actual guided tours. But it was cool just getting like our bearings around and seeing all the main stops. One of the many obelisks. Yeah, here we are actually riding on the golf cart. Like, Rome was slightly easier to navigate and make your bearings around, but it still was kind of tricky. And the traffic is always busy, 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 busy. Everywhere you go, lots of traffic. You can hear the tour guide in the back. It's a young guy, probably even younger than I am. Yeah, he spoke really good English. Yep. He was really nice, really knowledgeable of everything. Yeah, the motorcycles specifically, they would like weave in and out of traffic. Like, they don't want to commit to a lane. They just, if the traffic's backed up, or you can see the gas pumps, by the way, that's how to get their gas. There's no like Sunoco or Exxon, and it's just, there it is. They would just like weave in and out and go in their merry way. Interesting how like a lot of the old buildings are intertwined with the new buildings, with the modern buildings. Yeah. Of course, everyone should know what that is. We drove right by that. Yep, that's the Colosseum. Yep, so a nice view of that. And then the following day, we actually went inside and toured around. It's crazy. Like, you see it all the time, you know, in pictures and videos. But like, when you're there in person, it's just astounding just how huge it is. Another picture of it. All right, and here's a view of the Circus Maximus. That this apparently was like this is the largest stadium in the world, at least at that time, and this is where they would hold the chariot races. Like if you're familiar with the movie Ben-Hur, you know, this may or may not be the exact thing, but this was like like basically the chariot where they would hold the big chariot races, a giant oval. Yeah. Some of the ruins in the background there. It's crazy how all of a sudden they just pop up out of nowhere. All right, here we go. We have the Basilica di San Sabina, one of the many churches. And this is actually a basilica. I forget exactly. He mentioned the difference between a basilica and a cathedral. Or one of the tour guides like differentiated the two. I forget. I think a basilica is basically fancier, more prominent. There's the side entrance, and it's coincidentally at that time they were holding a wedding, so we had to be super quiet. So here's the door for like the quote-unquote main entrance. There's a cool statue. And there's a peek inside during the ceremony. I felt kind of guilty, like waltzing through like their wedding uninvited. And right outside, there's a grove of orange trees, and then right behind it, I forget exactly if you mentioned what those trees are, but like the vegetation is very different from here in the U.S. Yeah, they have a lot of different vegetation. And then here you can see at the very distance that dome is St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. This is a view from that vantage point. Yeah, even despite the dreary skies, it's still beautiful. Yep, in the foreground there's a Tiber River that flows right through the middle of the city. Ooh, take this off again. After a while, like the balaclava kind of like presses on my forehead. Whew. Yeah, I forget exactly what this structure is, but I thought it looks really cool with the statues on top. Yeah, everything looks like so old, like it's crazy. And I took a bazillion pictures. There's a cool statue and another lookout point. I'm not exactly sure who this guy is, but again, another cool statue. Okay. Here you can see the cobblestone streets. And near where our hotel is, a lot of streets are named after like Italian cities. Like there'll be like a Via Venezia, or Via Palermo, Via Napoli, and like like the named after the different cities around Italy. These golf carts move pretty quickly, surprisingly. It's really nice because like he provided us with water and like also umbrellas, which we didn't end up using it because it wasn't. At some points it was just lightly sprinkled. Thankfully, it wasn't too heavy a rain. And in one place, he actually stopped at a local not necessarily a pizzeria, but they serve pizza and like his special pick. And like this other thing, I forget what it's called, but it's like a fried like ball of dough with rice in it, and that was really good. Kind of like similar to like a hush puppy with rice in it. Look at the windy street, how it zigzags up the hill. Yeah. Yeah, you may or may not have heard what he said. Like that one, the monument there with the cross is where Saint Peter, or Simon Peter, was crucified. If you're familiar with the story, like he lived in Rome toward the end of his life, and then he eventually ended up being crucified, and he requested being crucified upside down cross, rather than the normal traditional way, because he thought he wasn't worthy, and like Christ, he wasn't worthy enough. Hair in my mouth. There's another nice view of the city. As you can see, everything's still green. Unlike here in the U.S., like in October, the leaves change, the foliage. Here it's because of the location in the Mediterranean area. Everything's still green. There's that monument with the guy on the horse. And off to the right's the other vista. Oh, and he said Giuseppe somebody or other. He's basically like the founder, or that unified all of Italy together. So there you go. Yep, here's a view from the overlook. Here we are crossing the Tiber River. You can't really see the river itself. In the background, you can kind of hear the sirens. They're very, again, I like doing comparisons, but they're very different from here in the U.S. Yeah. And here we are in Navona Square. As you can see, yes, there's more construction. Unfortunately, one fountain wasn't flowing. There's a Brazilian flag. I forget exactly why that's there, but yeah, it's a cool building with the Brazilian flag. Yep, so there is again the Navona Square. You can't escape it. You can't escape the rain, and you can't escape the construction. But there's the fountain under with all the scaffolding and the lack of water flowing. Oh well. Like it's just crazy. Like it seems like everyone picked this time to do their construction. It's crazy. Oh, this is outside the Pantheon. This is like an ancient Roman temple that was built for like their gods, and eventually then when Rome converted to Catholicism, then it was turned into like another basilica or like a church. This time we just did a view of the outside. Later on, another day we went inside. Look how high those columns are. It's crazy to see just how massive these structures are. There's all the people waiting in line. Again, we booked our tours ahead of time, so we were able to skip the line. Yeah, which is really nice. There's another view of it. You see all like the regular buildings surrounding it, and then there, bam, right there is this ancient Roman structure. It's crazy how well preserved it is. Alright, and then here's a view atop the Spanish Steps. I don't know if you can see the beautiful clouds there in the sunset. Spanish Steps is a landmark. Of course, the steps going all the way down to the bottom there. Later on, we had a view of the bottom. We didn't feel like going down there that night. It's one of the scenes. If you've ever seen the old movie Roman Holiday starring Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck, and one of the scenes takes place there at the Spanish Steps. It's a really, really good movie. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. There's an obelisk and a church there. Here's another view of the steps. Alright, and here we have the Trevi Fountain. Again, under construction. No water flowing. It is what it is. See what I mean? It's just everywhere you go. Yep, but there it is. Yep. Oh, thanks, Brimstone. Yeah, we learned a lot of like Roman history in 7th grade. I love. That's always found it fascinating. We talked about the ancient Greek states or Romans. Yeah, and I remember a lot of stuff that the tour guide said. Not everything. Like a lot of stuff I learned like just doing these tours. Oh yeah, that's that structure I complimented earlier on. There it is up close. Just realized that. There's the Colosseum at night. Look how cool it is with the lighting. Again, try to ignore the construction vehicles there. Yeah, it's just so beautiful. Imagine like going back in time and being there at the height of the Roman Empire, like seeing all these buildings in their full glory. I mean, it's nice, like the Colosseum, like for the most part, is well preserved. Of course, part of it was destroyed from an earthquake, as it was explained, and like some of the other ruins we'll see in a bit. But like, imagine like the full, like seeing everything in its glory and splendor. Yeah, and here's the view of like the hotel where we stayed. Like this, vintage, old-fashioned metal elevator goes up and down. Yeah, here we are. This next day we approaching a coliseum, and this time we got to go inside. And then, yeah, here's like the walkway. It's like a nice parkway through there. And here it is up close. And if you look way down, it's kind of hard to see with my logo in the way, but there's like a recently married couple there getting their pictures taken. Here, and here it is up close. You just see how big it is. Yeah, this is pretty early in the morning, so we had to wait in line, but thankfully not too long. Oh, hey there, Lunatic. Unfortunately, I missed your message from earlier. I was so into the content, I missed your message. If you're still there. Yeah, but here we are inside. You just look how old the brick is. And there you can see the comparison between the people and how high everything is and tall. Oh, I'm glad you see. Yeah. I missed your message somehow, but yeah. You see how big it is. It's one big arena. Of course, it's from the root of Colossus, or like something's colossal, it's gigantic, enormous. Yeah. And then you see the floors out, either intentionally or non-intentionally, and then you can see below, like the below ground. That's of course the depends where they would like hold the lines, so like where the gladiators would be, when they had their battles. Yep, there it is. Yep, and then here's the steps going up to the second floor. Yeah, but here we are approaching the second floor. And basically you go like a giant ring all the way around. I often wonder where the Caesar, the Emperor, would actually sit. I'm assuming like somewhere in the middle. Yeah, for those of you that don't remember or never didn't learn, so whenever there was like a gladiator battle, what would happen is that they would fight to the death. So the winner would be the survivor, of course, and then what would happen is actually no, I need to brush up my history. It might not be fighting to the death. It might just be like just overpowering your opponent, and then like if the opponent then the emperor either give the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Thumbs up means you live. Thumbs down means that you die. I think that's the way it works. And there's also that movie Gladiator, starring Russell Crowe. That's been a while since I've seen it, and of course it may or may not be historically accurate. But anyway, it's I don't know, it's really intriguing. Like that one, and if you Spartacus is another good example of gladiators battles. Yeah. Ben-Hur does a good depiction of the Roman Empire. Yeah. Of course, the infamous chariot race between him and the Roman guy. I forget his name. Yeah, and then of course the rowing, who was rowing in the boat, the boat and all that. I really like this view. It shows pretty much everything. And you can see how high up the stands go, like the nosebleed seats up there. And of course, back in the day, there was no jumbotron, so when you were up there, you probably couldn't see much of anything. So there you can see, yeah, there's a ring that goes all the way around that you can walk around the circumference. Yeah, you just never take enough pictures. Of all the places, this is probably my favorite place in Rome to visit. There's a good view of the underneath. Oh yeah, you can see close up of the pigeons. They're perched. There they are. Yep, here I am walking around. I think this is one of the few days where it didn't rain at all. Like the rain actually miraculously held off. Yeah, there's people down below. You know, we need to go down there. I wonder if they require like a special ticket to do that or something. And by the way, today for that or this day for whatever reason, a lot of like the streets were shut down around this area. So and we learned eventually there was some sort of like marathon or something because all of a sudden we heard like a lot of people cheering and going woo woo woo. And they're like, what the heck is going on? And then we came out to the street and here there people were running on the streets like for a marathon. After seeing this, you know how to come up with the expression Rome wasn't built in a day. It certainly took more than one day to build this alone. There's some pigeons. Just imagine building all this with their bare hands. Like there's no construction equipment or machinery at all. This is all brute force. I'd probably use some animals too, like to haul things around. But you know, they're doing the actual assembling and all that. And here's one of the arches, and unfortunately the name escapes me. Before I get too far, actually, I guess I'll show you some more brochures that I acquired. Where is it? Oh, here's a handy dandy map of Rome that the guy at the hotel desk gave us. Yeah, so there's, you can see like a rough overview of the city, where everything is. Let me see if I can determine. Called Arco di Constantino. Where's that Arco di Tito? Well, one of the two. But yeah, this is us heading toward the Forum and Palatine Hill. Yeah. Yeah, so it's one of those two. Anyway, so the Forum, of course, is the famous place where like the Senate convened, the Roman Senate, and then Palatine Hill, as the name suggests, is on a hill, and I believe that's like the original, like where the city of Rome was, like where all the people lived and all that. You know, there's a view of the Forum. Of course, there's the arch. Yeah, especially the fact it's on the smaller size, it's probably the Arco di Tito. Yeah. Hey there, David. Yeah, I'm confused with that. I'm think you're mistaken. Here we are. There you can see the bottom of Palatine Hill going up. You can see some of the ruins. Yep, there's some of the structures. Just look how tall the buildings were. There's a cool fountain. One of the few that actually was running and not under construction. There's an old, I believe, some sort of old dwelling. Steps going down. Up the fountain. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like it feels kind of like a city park, like Central Park, but then it's in the midst of old ruins. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure which way to go, so it's kind of just meandering every which way. Take a nice stroll through the park. At first I thought that was a bathtub, but then I learned, I believe that's a sarcophagus. Yeah. We're in an ancient coffin. just can't get over how tall those structures are. All those bricks laid by hand. Just imagine, I could be possibly walking in the same footsteps as Julius Caesar. Might be a little hard to hear, but in the background you hear the church bells ringing. You can see some old columns laying on the ground. And here we are at the Forum. Yeah, back in the day, this would have been like a huge, like, temple-like structure. Now, of course, it's all out in the open. Yeah, look at that. Looking underneath the archways there. Oh, pardon me, breaking the magic again. You guys are here to see, Rome and Venice, not a horse anyway, right? Cool juxtaposition between like the old ancient Roman ruins and I would like the newer classical building at the top of the hill there. That's all that remains, just those three columns. Look at that. What's that blue stuff up in there? Oh, that's right. That's called the sky. Imagine seeing that. Imagine seeing blue sky. Finally. This looks like roses there and growing on the wall. Statues lined up there. Oh yeah, and then later on that day we went to the Pantheon again. It's crazy. Just look how old these bricks are. It looks so ancient. And then the old marble, I believe that is, or granite. Look at the high columns. And it's so well intact. Yeah, there's a front. Unfortunately, I don't speak Latin at all, but yes, I'm not exactly sure what that says. Yeah, but here's a view inside. Yeah. And then there's a guest book. My dad and I both signed this. Of course, I took the picture before we both signed it. Just remain anonymous. But yeah. There's the dome ceiling. Kind of reminds me of the U.S. Capitol, although it's a lot older than that. But like, you know, a lot of the government buildings, especially in Washington D.C., are based off of like old Roman architecture. Like, I believe the U.S. Capitol building was inspired by St. Peter's Basilica, and even Pennsylvania's state Capitol building, Harrisburg, is really beautiful too. It's kind of reminiscent of that. Alrighty, so then later we kind of just walked around on our own, and this is just a couple blocks away from our hotel. And let me have my cheat sheet out, my map out. Okay, this is called Santa Maria Maggiore, Piazza Santa Maria Maggiore. Yeah, it's nice. Another church with an obelisk, common sight. Yeah, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is sunlight at the end of the day. And here is a nighttime. This is called Via Nazionale. I thought this may be like one of like the main primary streets in the city, and there's shops along both sides going up and down the street. Yeah. And then this place is called Piazza della Repubblica. Yeah, which is just a couple blocks away from the train station. All right, and then the following days we went to the Vatican. Now, technically speaking, it's its own separate country, but it's completely surrounded by the city of Rome. Now, the gate here, where it's behind that motorcycle, that's part of the gate to the Vatican City. Like, there's basically like a wall going all the way around. And look at the old-fashioned cobblestone there. Yeah, again, we booked a tour ahead of time, and so we did a skip the line. We had a guided tour, skipped the line, so we got like the VIP treatment. So it's how if you ever decide to do that, it's definitely worth the extra money to book the tours ahead of time. Yeah, because you get more time to do stuff rather than just waiting in line. Yeah, there's like a neighborhood right outside the Vatican. We're waiting for our tour guide. I forgot the name of this tour guide, but she was knowledgeable too. It might have just been due to time constraints, but she kind of rushed us along quite a bit. It would have been more nicer to slow down, but you know, I guess we're on a tight schedule. You can see the cool palm trees there. There's Musei Vaticani, of course, means Vatican museums. Yeah. And there's the entrance. There's the dome of St. Peter's Basilica there. There's a cool spiral staircase. Here's a view of the dome again, St. Peter's Basilica. Yes, there you can see blue sky. It's not an optical illusion. This is like literally the one and only like sunny day. Like, even that other day, the sun peeked out. But this is literally the only day of actual like sunshine of all the time we were there. Yeah. Excuse me. Not exactly sure who this guy is. I'm assuming he's one of the popes. There's a common sculpture. I forget who that depicts. So this, I believe, is Saint Francis of Assisi. There's so much information, so much to look at, and I try to absorb all the information, but yeah. And from my understanding, I believe they called it Vatican. The name Vatican came from is it's like from an old Etruscan word, like before the Roman Empire. The Etruscans were in the area, and it was derived from their language. And then this painting depicts Pope Sixtus IV, and that's where the Sistine Chapel got its name from. Sixtus IV. There's a picture of him again. Of course, almost everyone recognizes. Now, this is not the original Leonardo da Vinci painting of the Last Supper, but this is like a tapestry of the same painting. Of course, major event in Christianity. You know, the Last Supper, the Passover for Jesus's crucifixion. Yeah, there's so much to see at this museum, but unfortunately we're kind of rushing through it. There's a nice courtyard. And there's that pine cone. I forget what you said the significance of that is. There's like a cool globe there. It kind of reminds you of the Unisphere. It actually spins around. Another view of that globe. There's the pine cone again. And the globe again. And the pine cone again. Yeah, there we go. Here's the tour guide. The one with the flag was our tour guide. Here you can see the dome of St. Peter's Basilica in the background here. A whole bunch of statues. Of course, St. Peter's Basilica is named after St. Peter, aka Simon Peter, one of Jesus' disciples, and also the first pope of the Catholic Church. Yeah. This is Animal Hall. A lot of cool animal statues. I forget exactly what this hall was. A lot of statues. And in the middle, you'll see there's like a giant, what looks like a hot tub, but that's exactly what it was, like a giant spa. Yeah, there it is. Just a review of the hallway with all the statues. A doggy statue. Or animal statues. Or sculptures, whatever you want to call them. Lion. You have another ceiling fresco. This kind of reminds me of being an Egyptian pyramid. Of course, probably drew inspiration from that. There's a sarcophagus. Of course, Egypt played a huge influence in the Roman Empire, especially, the whole story of Mark Antony and Cleopatra, And of course, Egypt was originally part of the Roman Empire at one point. Lots of statues. She gives a lot of information.
the god of the party because the mythology say that when Baku was a baby, he should play not with the drum. Remember that in Italy, I said that it's really.
This is the hallway of the tapestries. Yeah, look at that ceiling. Look at the bright golden color. Yeah, look at all the tapestries.
Every Italian school recognizes this frame, this specific representation. Why? For this specific symbol, a crown laurel leaf. Remember that still today, every doctor, just graduated, put a crown like this in laurel leaf. Why? Laurel leaf was a specific plant that remember you have to buy a small container, not really expensive, 1 or 2 euros. Before COVID, every food drinks a good drink, every container. But after COVID, is decided by the specific container. Remember, the thing made with a specific technique called mono. Mono means one, like just one color. You could see, for example, 3D.
Yeah, kinda, I guess. She kind of talks a little fast, not too mad. I mean, I understand basically everything she said. Oh, this is one of my favorite areas. This is the whole hallways lined with maps of all the different regions of Italy. And outside the window, you can see the Vatican Gardens. There up at the top, it gives the names of all the different regions. Sicily, Sardinia, Approvium, there's Corsica. Of course, now it's part of France. But I guess back in that day, it was part of the the Roman Empire. Picenum. Yeah, I could read what that one said. And here we are approaching the Sistine Chapel. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to take photography, so that's why there's no footage of that. Oh, by the way, there's the tour guide. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna put my head back on. There we are. And there's a map of modern day or today's Italy. Yep. Call it Italia Nova. Yeah, New Italy. Right here's St. Peter's Square. Right, this is after we went through the Sistine Chapel. And I believe on Sundays they hold mass outside. That's why there's all those chairs out there. This was on a Monday, the day after. There's a blue sky. Take it in while you can. Yep. Yeah, so you go through the Sistine Chapel, and like I think she gives like 10-15 minutes, look up at the ceiling. Of course, it's the famous Michelangelo paintings, including the one where God creates Adam. Again, no photography is allowed, which is a bummer. And as you exit the chapel, then you go down this long hallway. It's actually on a slope going down. Yeah. And throughout, they have these things called the Swiss Guards. They're from Switzerland. And you could Google this. Their attire, it kind of reminds me of a court jester. It's like just funky colors and style. Yeah. But I believe they're chosen for Switzerland because it's a neutral country. So yeah, there's the front of St. Peter's Basilica. Later on, then we came back. We took a picture from a farther vantage point so you could see the actual dome and everything. And yes, unfortunately, even St. Peter's Basilica cannot escape construction. You'll see what I mean. Picture of the obelisk. Unfortunately, I did not see the Pope around. I guess he was busy conducting his duties. I was hoping that maybe I could stop by, grab a selfie with him. Just kidding. Yep. So here we are inside, like the foyer. So off to the right side is where you go for the crypt and also like to go upstairs. We didn't go upstairs; we had to pay extra for that. The crypt was free. That's down below. That's where like a lot of the former popes or their remains are, their sarcophagi. That part was free. I went there later on. Hurry out in the balcony or portico or porch, what do we call it? Once you see the main hall, you're just blown away. It's just so enormous. All right, here we are in the main hall, and yes, that is scaffolding, and yes, you can hear hammering in the background, but pretend it's not there. Just look how enormous this place is. It's crazy. It's insanely beautiful. Yes, it's just huge. I kind of just walked around in a big circle. Oh yeah, there you can see me taking a picture of my phone. Because I was holding my camcorder by one hand and my phone in the other. I wonder if those are all confession booths there. I always saw them now. All those wooden booths lined up there. I'm not Catholic, but I believe that's what they are. Yep, there's the construction scaffolding. Just pretend that's actually part of the original building. Yep, there's my phone again. Taking pictures. I try to take it as much as possible. There's my phone again. Yeah. So now we get to see the pictures that you saw me take. Oh yeah, here's the video of me going down into the crypt down below, and this is where like a lot of the former popes remains are in their sarcophagi. And at the very end is a very historical figure, and you'll find out who that is then. He called the crypt or the grottos. Yep, all along there are the different sarcophagi. Yep, there's my phone yet again. There's Pope John Paul I, Johannes Paulus. Later on, I found out that John Paul II is somewhere else in the basilica, but I forget exactly where. Alright, so behind this glass window is where supposedly Peter's remains are. St. Peter. It's kind of hard to see with like the glare and the reflection. Sancte Petri, or I guess it's the Latin name, and then Pietro and San Pietro in Italian. And then the exit, you have to go single file up the flight of steps. That takes you back up to the main floor of the St. Peter's. Yeah. Yep, so there's John Paul the First again. I think he always served like 1 year, and then John Paul II succeeded him, and he served for a long time until his death. And then right after it was Pope Benedict the 16th. There's some St. Peter's remains in there. All right, now the next day we did went down to the Amalfi Coast. So that's actually Mount Vesuvius there in the background. Yeah, we got up bright and early in the morning, assembled in one of the plazas there in Rome, and then we got a bus. Took the bus about a 3.5 hour drive down to the city of Salerno along the coast near Naples. So there's, you can see the clouds again. Really beautiful countryside. There's a view of Mount Vesuvius again. There's a separate tour that goes to Pompeii. Of course, it was one of the ancient cities destroyed by the volcanic eruption, but we didn't do that one. And there's the view of the city of Salerno along the coast. This is on the Tyrrhenian Sea, on the west coast of Italy, as opposed to the Adriatic Sea. Now, unfortunately, on this trip, I left my camcorder at the hotel, so I recorded my video with my phone, which the sound quality is a little inferior to the camcorder, but still was able to record. But it's actually, the pictures are actually breathtaking, I think. So yeah, there's the port or marina, whatever you call it. All right, there's the boat that we take. We basically go to, well, we sail off from Salerno, and then we go to this place called I keep forgetting the name. Postinato, I think it's called. I think, and then finally Amalfi. Yeah. Yeah, you can see there we are on the boat. Yeah, the whole time we're sailing along the coast. It's very scenic. Very hilly and mountainous. So like those two settlements or two cities or towns are built right on the cliffs. Yeah, you see large ships there. Look at the cliffs. So this is the first place we go to. Hold on, oh yeah, here we are approaching it. Yeah, A lot of people come here like because they're vacation, like a resort town. There's beaches and lots of shopping, and boutiques, and good restaurants. Due to the time constraints, so we had to go from place to place. It took like 3.5 hours to get down, and it'll be another 3.5 hours to get back to Rome. We were kind of pressed for time, so we could always spend like about an hour at both locations, hour each. Yeah, and as we were waiting for the one boat, there's a couple that stopped off another boat that just came in, and then like the girl was like hunched over, and she must have gotten seasick or something, and then like her male companion was like patting her in the back, because so she must have, yeah, she had to have gotten sick, unfortunately. Yeah, there's a view from the one lookout. So scenic and picturesque, I think. Yeah, it's really cool. It's like a notch in the cliff, like a big cave. See, the towns are literally built right on top of the cliff, stacked up. There's the beach. Positano, that's the name. Positano. That's the first place we went. Now that's that actual town. There's like no streets or anything, but I think there's like cars driving up above, so you have to like walk down the stairs to get to it. We, of course, most people come in by boat. And here we are, the one restaurant. There's a pizza oven there in the background. I didn't order pizza. What I ordered was spaghetti with mussels, and that was really good. It's the first time I ever had mussels before. Yeah, I had to work for it though. Like, you know, you had to pry out the meat, you know, out of the shells. But it was really good. It's a view of the streets or walkways. So the boutiques. There's one of the many stairways leading up the cliff. So I actually went up there. I didn't go all the way up to the top, but you can see the stairways going up. That's how you get from top to bottom, or bottom from top. You gotta go the stairs. There's the church there. Another bell tower. Another view of the beach. There's a big anchor. It's a cool waterfall. And here you can see cactus. Yeah, I didn't realize cacti grew here. Right, this is us leaving. Now we're headed to our Amalfi. Yeah, Max says looks delicious, but not sure if you can have mussels due to medical condition. Yeah, better safe than sorry. Yeah, it's pretty. As you might imagine, the meat's pretty small. You can swallow it in one gulp, but it's still good. Yeah, Amalfi's slightly larger than Positano or Positano. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I keep mixing up how to pronounce that name. And you can see there's just street traffic down below. It's a nice map of the area of the Mediterranean Sea. There's the church. Of course, every town has to have a big church. The church you had to pay to go inside, so I just went up the stairs and took a picture of the outside. All right, and oh yeah, this is our tour guide. Her name is Angela, and when I first heard her speak, she's like, I was like taken aback. It's like, whoa, she sounds just like she's from the U.S., like no Italian accent or anything. And here she was actually born and raised here in the U.S. And then I forget how she ended up in Italy. I think one of her parents is from Italy, so she ended up moving to there. And yeah, so yeah, but she has a wicked sense of humor. She's cracking jokes all throughout. Really nice. So this place is serving limoncello, which is a lemon alcoholic beverage. So we each got like a little shot of it, and that stuff, whew, it hits you real fast. Yeah, you could definitely taste the alcohol. Yeah. Here's a view of the church. Yeah, all along there are different shops and boutiques. Here's a video of me walking down the street. Yeah, a lot of lemon products there. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a huge shopper, and it's like not one of my activities. Like, it's kind of nice, like spending a little bit of time just going down and see what they have. But this is more for this area is geared more towards shoppers. All that. But like what we did was all right because since we didn't spend that much time there, like it wasn't we just kind of strolled around and then like we grabbed the meal at at Positano, yeah. But like after a while, I'll probably get a little bored if I stayed here for too long. This is a view of the pier. There's a view of the beach there. Statue of, I'm not sure who that is. There you can see again the sunshine peeking through right at the end of the day. This is going on the boat back to Salerno, and there's a nice sunset. Oh yeah, so this is the last day. We kind of had like a free day, so we had this thing kind of hop off and on the bus, where like it goes like around a circle, and then you can get off and on at your leisure. So this time we went to the baths of Caracalla, a huge like Roman bathhouse, or at least the remains of that. And it started all right, and then slowly the rain started dripping and dripping and dripping, and it would turn from a light drizzle to a light steady rain, and then it turned into a heavier rain, and then finally a freaking deluge. Yeah, this day was absolutely dreadful. Like in the beginning, with like here, it's not too bad, but like the rest of the day was absolutely dreadful. It just figures like our last day of the trip, and like the day where we were like going around and doing a lot of outdoor activities, and it had to be a freaking just miserable rainy day. But oh well. Yep, so this is the ruins of the baths of Caracalla. By the way, when we got on the bus right outside the train station, as we're waiting for the bus to depart, we were looking, and there was one of those outdoor cafes there. And all of a sudden, we heard this loud yelling, and like, what's going on? And we look in here. All of a sudden, these two guys are about to get into like an altercation, like a fist fight, and then it's like the waiters are like standing in the way and pulling them away from each other, and it's like, kind of the stuff you see in movies. It was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, they were cooked, Max. By the way, I believe the bats of Caracalla were the main inspiration for the original Penn Station in New York, the original train station in Manhattan. And then in the '60s, it was demolished to make room for Madison Square Garden. And then they immediately after their demolition, they realized what a huge mistake that was, and they regretted it. But then just a few years ago, then he built the newer station. It's not returned to its original glory, but you know it's definitely a lot better than the like the former Penn Station and the underground subway, you know, low ceiling subway station that existed for a while. There you can see the fountain off in the distance. Later on, it goes off every so often, and I was able to finally capture the whole entire display. Yeah, from my understanding, I didn't really stop and read too much because, like, just want to make sure we get as much done as possible. But like in a Roman bathhouse, like you have one area with like a hot water, like a spa, like a hot bath, and then there's another area with like a medium lukewarm bath, and then there's an area with like a cold bath, and they go to each one. Yeah. Just crazy to think those bricks are like centuries and centuries old. Over a millennium, actually. Yeah, this is the calm before the storm. They're all throughout the grounds. You see like the toppled columns. Here they are. More columns. Alright, here's the fountain show. It's pretty quick. Alright, Brisbane, thanks for joining. Yeah, pretty much near the tail end. It's good to have you along. Oh yeah, there's the sign for the entrance. And there's more pictures of the bathhouse. Right, there's the view of the Tiber River. This is on our way to the Vatican. I wanted to go back to get a better picture of the whole building. And the rain started getting heavier. You can see all the umbrellas. So here we are in St. Peter's Square. Here you can see the dome and then the obelisk in the front. Yep, here we are approaching St. Peter's Square. Here we are at St. Peter's Square. Just do a panoramic shot. All right, here we are back at the Spanish Steps. This time we actually descend down the steps in the rain, as you can see by the umbrellas. There's the fountain at the bottom. Yep. The rain just kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier. Here we are approaching the bottom. Don't you say the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plane? Well, we're not in Spain, we're in Italy. Despite the name of Spanish Steps. Of course, it's the song from the sound, or oh, there's the deluge. This is like a river. Oh, the musical My Fair Lady, another Audrey Hepburn film. Yeah, as you can see, it's crazy. So we're standing like in the lobby of a hotel just to get out of the rain. It's just crazy. Alright, and then later on we made it to the Trevi Fountain. Thankfully the rain lightened up a little bit. Still out of service. Sometimes there's rain, other times there's construction, and a lot of times you get both rain and construction simultaneously. Yeah, what can you do? Already, and this is back at that same Irish pub, because it was raining. We ate inside this time. Most of the time, we ate outside. And in here, a whole bunch of like people put up their currency and signed it. I just thought that was kind of cool. I did not do that, by the way. I did not leave my mark. All right, and here we are boarding a flight back home from the Fiumicino airport outside of Rome. Let's see, are there any more pictures? Okay, well, let me just talk about so the last day we got up bright and early, took a cab to the airport, and like drama. There's also drama. Like, so Well, when we landed in Venice, I had to go through customs and checked everyone's passport, and there was a holdup with mine. And one guy was like typing on his computer, didn't know what he was doing, said he had to ask his colleague, and then just back and forth, and then finally let me through. And then when I'm trying to depart Fiumicino, going through the customs there, the guy has me. I'm at the booth, and the guy's like typing on his computer, clicking, typing, clicking. It's like, and I'm just like shrugging my shoulders, like, what is going on? And it just seemed like an eternity. And if I was like, just a moment, I have to step away for a second. And then, before that, he was like asking me questions like, where are you going? When's your flight? And I was like, here's my boarding pass. There's all the information. So I give him my passport, my boarding pass. He walks away. Then maybe about 5 or 10 minutes later, he finally comes back, and he's typing, and finally gives me the thumbs up. I'm like, oh, geez Louise. I'm like, what is he doing all that time? And I was tempted to ask what the holdup was, but I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to cause any trouble, And so we get on the flight, no issues at all, and we landed at JFK Airport early afternoon, go through customs, and so we go to the line for U.S. citizens, and of course, as my luck would have it, everyone in front of me is going through, zoom right through. When it's my turn, the girl's like, I'm sorry, I have to step away. I'm like thinking, are you freaking serious? So she walks away from her booth. I'm like, of all the people to have to do this to. And I wait another 5-10 minutes, and she finally comes back. She checks my passport, and I go through. It's like, oh my God. And in here, it's like going out from Penn Station to the airport, you have to take the subway, then the air train. And I preferably wanted to do the same in reverse, going back that way. But my dad already arranged for a shuttle service to take me directly to Penn Station. So I had to wait for him to pick up his baggage. I already had carry-out, but he had a bag to check in. So we went to baggage claim to pick that up. And then I was just about to go to the bathroom and say my goodbyes because he had a connecting flight back to his home. And I got a call on the phone, and here it's the shuttle driver's like, hey, it's your shuttle's here, ready whenever you are. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll be out in a moment. And so I didn't get a chance to go to the bathroom like I wanted to. So I run out there, and then here she is, and then she's like, oh, they're waiting for a couple other people that will be on their way. And so we're waiting. She's getting antsy. I'm thinking, I really need to go to the bathroom. And she's like, you know what, if you want to get outside and, just get some fresh air, that's fine. I was like, you know what, can I go to the bathroom real quick? She's like, yeah, go ahead. So I go back inside to the terminal, and I'm almost to the men's room, and I get another call, this time from some other person from the company saying, oh, some other, you can get on the other shuttle, they're leaving now. And I was like, okay. So it's so close to go to the bathroom, but no cigars. So I go back outside, and then we're waiting. And then we finally leave, and then the traffic was awful. And then we had to stop at another terminal to pick up other people. It took forever to get out of the airport, the drive. And then the traffic through the Queens was awful, as you could imagine, bumper to bumper gridlock. You go through the Queens Midtown Tunnel to go over to Manhattan, and Manhattan's even worse. It's just bumper to bumper gridlock everywhere. And then I finally get to Penn Station. I'm like, hallelujah. I go into the station and immediately make a beeline to the bathroom, able to relieve myself finally, hop aboard my train to go back to home, and everything's smooth. The train leaves on time, no issues, no hassles. And then it gets right to the Downingtown stop, which is like a suburb of Philly. I'm only 3 stops away from home. And all of a sudden, the train abruptly stops. I'm like, what is going on? And here, the conductor announces, oh, there's an issue with the switches. And so we have to wait till that gets resolved. There's no ETA. And I'm thinking, are you freaking kidding me? Because I arranged for my mom to pick me up at the station. And I told her I'm going to be home at such and such a time. I'm going to be there at such and such a time. And so she's probably wondering where the heck I am. And then finally, a little bit later, they finally announced that the system's been resolved. I'm like, it just seems to be the story of my life, just one drama and hassle after another. So if I arrived back home, good to be home. And then, immediately the next day, I didn't have time to unpack my stuff. I just came home and kind of unwound and then went to bed. The following day, I spent all day preparing for this live stream, going through all my videos and pictures. So again, I finally got time this morning. I finally had the chance to finally unpack my bags. So, yeah, so all in all, that was my trip. That was my time in Italy. I had a blast. There were some hiccups along the way, mainly construction and weather, and then the issues with customs, the train delay. But overall, it was a great trip. I'm so glad I was able to go. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the footage I shared and some of my stories. And yeah, Any other questions or comments or whatever before I wrap this scene up? Because I know I'm going pretty long, but we made it through all 538 some odd files, so I think we did pretty good. Whew. Oh, before I wrap these up, though, I quickly took shots of the new Penn Station just because I'm a train nerd. So yeah, there's just a new, I think it's Moynihan something or other Penn Station. So there's a new concourse. I think it looks pretty cool. There's still nothing close to the original Penn Station, but better than what we had in the basement. And there's the skyline of Philadelphia. I like those to stop on the way home. Yeah, so the skyline of Philly. There's of course the Schuylkill River. And then here it is approaching sunset. I always love Philadelphia skyline. I think it's one of the best skylines there is. And then as we're departing Philly, there it is at night. All right, so there we are. Just the end of the pictures. Let me go ahead and enlarge myself, if it will enable me to. There we are. All righty. So that's my time in Italy. Yep, went to Venice, went to Rome, Amalfi Coast. Yep, dealt with the raid, dealt with the construction, but if that's what it takes to get there, I wouldn't trade that for anything. I mean, I'm so thankful just to be there and had a blast. Max is saying when I'm going to go to the trip. I have no idea. I really don't. This is all due to my dad. Like, he arranged pretty much everything. I think he was able to win like the flight over there for me, and then like a lot of stuff he was able to book online because he used to be a travel agent. That was his former job, so he knows like the ins and outs of a lot of stuff. So all that to say, I have no idea when the next time. I doubt it's going to be in the near future. It might be the medium, the long-term future, or who knows? Maybe if one of my ships comes in, I can fund my own trip over there, which would be preferable. Or not. I mean, I would still love to travel with him. I mean, but for me to be able to pay my own way and contribute more financially, So yeah. On that note, I think I'm gonna wrap things up. Yeah, thanks again everyone for joining me. Yep. In case you're wondering where I was, yeah, I've been on hiatus. I did a lot of con stuff in July and August, and I kind of took a break in September and geared up for this trip now, and probably could see now why let's kind of drive my content with doing all this now. So I might throw out another video here or there, but I probably won't be as active as I was previously. It'll just kind of be in spurts, not that sort of schedule or regularity. But on that note, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. This is Stalkaz. Ciao and arrivederci.